Yeah, so Cheech, like we were saying before, like who would be the prophets of Prague? Like I said disciples, but who
Yeah.
are the prophets, you think? Or am I confusing them? Because I always think there's a
Um.
distinction between prophets and disciples.
Wow. Yeah.
Now,
Well,
are these the prophets? Like who are the disciples? Who do you, like we talk about the four
yeah,
evangelists, right?
yeah. We have the Holy Four. So I think the prophets, in my humble opinion, are Gentle Giant, Jethro Tull, obviously Pink Floyd. You know.
But why not
Uh.
disciples though?
Oh, I don't see. I don't know the what. So what's the difference between the
Are
prophets?
we going too far with this joke?
I don't know. I'm gonna say more disciples because I don't really. Yeah, I would say that like disciples of Prague.
Do you know the difference?
I don't know the difference
And the
though.
Greek terms? No? And the Greek
Yeah,
etymology? All right, man. Well, anyway, to our audience out there, sorry, we're not talking we're not talking
wait,
about religion.
we're on air. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're on the air. All we're missing is the metal table, but welcome back to
Mr. Black is trying to get in.
Mr.
There
Black is
you
trying to get a word in there or two. But
Yeah,
well, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. This is the Cheech and Manny music show or podcast. We're here continuing our Prague Bible series, I called it.
yep,
So
yep,
kind of like a little funny inside joke there. But yeah, we're writing the Holy Bible on progressive rock, and we have done already. It's an ongoing series that we started with prehistoric Genesis stuff with Canterbury.
yep,
We moved on to talking about some of the Holy Gospels. We did our top 10 prog songs too.
yep,
Not
yep.
official, but we did have a discussion with Silky Joe on the matter.
Hmm.
And we talked about the four Gospels, the four evangelizers. And
Yeah.
by the way, I think only one is out. One is coming out today as we speak.
Oh,
So
good.
ELP, yes, and then pretty soon Genesis, and we already did King Crimson.
Yeah.
So we have that. But today we're going to be talking about either their disciples or prophets, right? So, and there's a big difference. I mean, I'm not trying to turn into,
Maybe we could decide on the band who's a prophet and who's a disciple.
well, but first you have to know what a prophet is, though. What is a prophet? Yeah, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. And I'm not
Okay, a
trying to turn to,
disciple. I can tell you. A disciple is a follower of a prophet.
yeah, yep. It would be, yeah. So it could be that. Yeah, student. That's what disciple means.
Student, yeah, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, in a sense, but not really.
They would be the prophets.
But they also would have disciples.
Well, okay, so no. Let's break that down. No, so Socrates is the prophet,
Yeah,
Plato and Aristotle students.
they're not
So
disciples.
they would be discípulos. They would be disciples.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's where that Greek word comes from. It means student.
right.
So are these bands that we're going to be mentioning, are they students? Now, a prophet, though, a prophet
Hold on,
claims.
we got a Joe Silky Joe message that he was at the temple today and he missed me. I think that's what it said.
I can't believe you're not at the temple. It's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so a prophet is different. A prophet claims to have certain truths about religion or God, or sort of bring in like truths that people are not ready to hear.
John the Baptist.
So he's the famous one in the New Testament. In the Old
Yeah.
Testament, you have Isaiah among many, but so are
Yeah.
these bands, are they prophets or are they students?
I think they're all students, with the exception of Pink Floyd.
If anything, Sid Barrett is a prophet.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't know. That's a real I think we got to go band by band and decide. I can't really, you know what I mean?
Interesting, right? That could be its own like criteria. Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
no, it's funny because maybe we're going too far with this joke, but I'm just thinking like because a prophet, for example, King Crimson with in the court of the Crimson King, that's prophetic prophecy.
Right.
They're
That's a prophet.
prophets. They
Yeah.
brought in rock music was not ready for them.
Yeah.
Hence, and also they imploded because of just too much genius in that, right? So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
usually prophets are not welcomed in their own country and biblically and sometimes religiously. But a prophet brings in truths and they make society aware of like truths and sometimes people are not ready to hear it. So for example, George Orwell is a prophet with his
Right.
books that was bringing the truth of denouncing totalitarian communistic governments, all that good stuff.
Right,
Rush are
right.
prophets,
Of course, because
Neil
the
Perl,
words were written on the prophet. Wait,
that the word on the prophet, yeah, it's Studio Hall, right? So
yeah, yeah.
that's the thing. So these bands are interesting. Are they students or are like we talked about the Holy Four because obviously King Crimson is I think they're Canterbury is Genesis. So we have the origins of like the nursing of this genre.
The Old Testament.
Yes, and then so King Crimson is definitely the prophet of prophets, but then you also have like Yes, who are continuing the legacy and bringing in more prophetic musicalness, progressiveness.
Well, if anything, yeah, they're the four gospels or the prophets.
Hmm.
But let's take
But
it
but they're
back.
different. But they're like the gospels because each gospel is different. So
Okay.
that's what's great about this analogy
Yeah.
because King Crimson is the prophet that will end up getting like John the Baptist beheaded because.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes takes it to a whole nother level. They're like sort of like the John where, beautiful, poetic.
Hmm.
Genesis is Luke, like in terms of like,
Yeah.
perfecting everything
Right.
historically and both progressively. And then you have ELP. Now, ELP, I would call them sort of like the Mark Gospel because they laid the groundwork or the foundations. You know
They
what I mean?
did.
Like, and sort
Yeah.
of, and obviously we have our favorites as well. So these either are the next bands we're going to be talking about today are either students of these four,
Yeah.
or they are continuing the prophets. So
Right.
maybe we already talked about the four prophets, right? And I
Yeah.
guess the question will be who's the Holy Messiah?
Oh, that Rush. You got to go with Rush.
Who's the messianic in our analogy here? I know, and our viewers are
I
like,
have to say Rush out of all the prog
yeah, our
bands for
viewers
me.
are like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, and we're not even taking psychedelics. This is our
No,
brain.
no, this is just straight up. But yeah, let's continue with today's episode. So
Yeah.
today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the prophets or disciples of progressive rock. We talked about the Holy Four, and they're coming
Yep.
out as we speak. Three are already out. One more is my favorite, Genesis, of course.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
didn't mean yes. I mean yes, they
yeah.
are.
See, and it's funny. I think Genesis are the messianic ones. That I'm just gonna throw it out there, but
Yeah.
we can argue about that. But so we're gonna be talking about now on the fringes, the students, the people with like the if anything, they're like the St. Paul's where they're gonna write letters and
Right, where they
continue.
where they spread the word.
They spread the
Well,
word.
like this disciples, pretty much.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're gonna spread. So and before
So they're
we
all disciples. They're all
I,
disciples.
I think that's the better one because
Yeah.
prophets, I think we already talked about them. We're just
Yeah.
missing
Yeah.
the Messiah. So I don't know who you would want to argue
That'll
for that.
be
It could be Rush. I think it's Genesis only because of the Jesus imagery in their albums. I think they're onto something, but that's just me.
it's hard to pick the Messiah of I I think King Crimson might be the Messiah of
Nah,
prog
nah,
rock.
they're the John the Baptist.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
The,
I
the
think they're
martyr,
like
the martyr.
they're the
Yeah.
ones. They're the voice in the wilderness. They're the
Yeah,
voice in the court of the Crimson King,
exactly.
and they're the ones that talk to the wind, but no one's listening. Huh?
Yeah, I
Huh?
like that. I like
But anyway, so Cheech, how are you, my friend? The People's
I'm doing
Bassist,
good.
Chris
Doing good.
Carrero. What's going on, brother?
Doing pretty good.
You're a prophet at the temple, man. You're sometimes close to getting like beheaded.
yeah, sometimes, but things are good today, pretty quiet. Um, so looking forward to, these episodes coming out because I really enjoy them because like I'm really into this whole prog thing. I can't stop, like I said, I think the next one I started to write was out of the prophets. I didn't write Yes yet, so I was going to start with Fragile. So I think we'll go into
I
that.
know. I mean, we're gonna go into the new year. Essentially, we didn't forget about Rush. It's funny how this podcast started with New Bobbin, the new wave British heavy metal, and then
Yeah.
now obsession with Rush. We're not even done with that yet. I mean,
No,
we
no.
still got to cover their
I, I I just
discography.
love how we get obsessed
Yeah.
with things. And that's just our nature, our personality. We took a break and we went right into the whole serial killer thing for a while.
Yes,
Then
which is left unfinished. And actually, I have like more questions than answers for that one because
oh
I've been
yeah.
thinking about the spiritual nature. We had this
Oh,
conversation
we
where
had a great
which I
conversation at the
wish we
time,
could record.
which we cannot talk about on this podcast because
Oh, we'll
we'll
get
get
in
in hot
hot
water.
water.
We'll get in
Yeah,
hot water from
we'll get
certain
in hot
people.
water.
It
Sadly, because
has to do with, psychiatry and all that kind of stuff. But
yes, and like looking at the veil of evil and what exactly that if anything, it's funny, there was well, I'm not even gonna go there, but
yeah,
yeah, so but we cover everything where we're if anything, this should be the show should be called the Obsession Show.
I know.
Once we become obsessed, it's over.
We forget about it.
And
It
that's
just,
just as us because we're learners. Like we talk about
yeah.
what we're obsessed about.
I can't stop learning, and I
Yeah.
learned so much from you, from Dylan and Springsteen and the stuff that I wasn't that familiar with. And I'm a prog rock guy my whole life, and now I'm learning more about prog rock than ever. I mean, I remember writing a paper about it in college, and now I'm just like deep diving into more elements and more
Hmm.
insanity and insanity in prog rock.
I feel that progressive rock within it is the continuation. You know how there was like like the continuation of, because let's be honest, like I love rock and roll, like Elvis,
Yeah.
Chuck
Oh
Berry,
yeah.
and don't get me wrong, like I love that stuff. But that definitely is music of the youth, and especially based on the rhythm and blues sound and
Yeah.
bar, right? The 12
And
bar
it's
blues.
about getting girls and stuff.
At the end of the day, yeah, I'm not gonna go in because we might have kids watching, but rock and roll is a euphemism for you know
Yeah.
what. And it also like Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, hey
Yeah.
Fruity, like
Yeah.
he's talking about a certain thing he wants, Tutti Frutti,
Yeah.
but or custard pie.
Oh, of course, we know what that's about. But the prog rock guys,
No,
I mean,
Prague is,
they didn't care what girls thought of them.
and,
You know what I
and
mean?
I'll be honest with you, that is, and we talked many conversations about um looking at philosophy of like like freedom and free will, and if you chase art for the girls and money, Rush will tell you you lost your integrity. So I feel as though that in progressive rock you have the Socratic answer to the short-term pleasures that normally rock offer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's taking a look at human nature, philosophy, psychology, anthropology, sociology, like all the ologies. It's looking into like
History. Yeah.
it's looking
You know.
so that's why I feel like that's why a lot of people, especially in the rock genre, like they don't like progressive rock because it's
Yeah.
too cerebral.
I want to say something funny, but like maybe in the 60s and 70s, the groupies for prog rock guys were librarians, but in that at that time, when I was a kid, librarians were old ladies. They were
Well,
like
that's the
they were
joke.
like women in their 60s and
Yeah.
70s, so it's
And
not like a,
no, and if
you
they
know.
were young, they were bookish, long dress types, covered everything, glasses.
I would think the prog rock groupies were the girls that went to Harvard or Brown or intellectual, really girls that were going to be doctors, lawyers, and they and listen to that kind of music. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know, as like what kind of
Yeah,
woman.
I don't, yeah, it's fascinating to think about. Yeah, like what kind of women would be into listening to like Camel or Genesis or
I mean, I think there Mozart got laid a lot. So at the time, musicianships, if you were a good musician, you could have, that could have been an attraction to a girl, you know? Jesus, I wish it was now. It's not, unfortunately.
not anymore. But anyway, but yeah, let's do a deep dive. I don't
Yeah.
know, Cheech, where you want to start with the
Oh,
bands. I know you got a nice list, and I'll offer commentary.
yeah, I got a great list here. All right. So we're gonna start off with a little band from London called Gentle Giant. Now, this is a band that everyone scratches their head over and goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen their albums." But I bet you if you got
Yeah,
one out of
have you
10
listened to them? Like probably not.
clicks, if you got one out of 20 people, they never heard of Gentle Giant song in their
No, no.
lifetime.
And no, and I'll be honest with you, if anyone does a quick search, they'll realize how weird their album covers are.
Yeah.
Like
I
they're
had the
pretty,
album.
they're cool.
Yeah.
It's just that
Yes.
they're out there. Like definitely progressive.
Oh yeah.
And they had and I know I could be wrong, Cheech, not commercially successful as far as I know.
In England they were. You know, they were too much. They weren't radio friendly, and they didn't have
No.
what the four prophets had. They were just in it way for the art and did not give a shit about, you
Yes.
know. But they had they were on a major label
Yeah.
that backed
Well,
them.
well, it makes sense because at the time, progressive rock was popular.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah,
growing, especially in England, which
yeah,
is fascinating. But yeah, they're on the fringes now. Where if we have a progressive rock spectrum, Pink Floyd is, middle. Left would be, I don't know, right would be, like Jethro Tull or whatever. These
yeah,
people were on the left. Like they're out there. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
music is
Definitely.
challenging, weird
Yeah,
in a good way, in a good way. And
and they're known for their album covers.
yep,
You
yep,
know, Gentle
yep.
Giant. I
Very
remember
cool.
having that. I think my parents had it.
Kind of
Well,
scary though.
I might have bought it. I might have bought it at Corvettes when I was like
Yeah, imagine
pretty
you got a girl
little.
over and you pull out that Gentle Giant album cover.
You're gonna get some leg tonight
At
for sure.
night.
Girl's gonna run out of the room and scream.
You drop the needle.
Yeah,
You drop the needle. You just hear some like weird like bass line and rock. Yeah, they're weird,
yeah.
but amazing. I think
Oh yeah.
underrated, very underrated.
I remember just being a kid staring at it, and it was like looking at, the No David book. You know what I mean? It's like insane. It's
Terrifying.
that giant. It's like a fairy tale, you know.
Yeah, very
Jack and
pastoral,
it's
very English.
Jack and the Beanstalk,
Yep.
pretty much. So, 1970, Gentle Giant. They're from London. To describe them, intricate hard rock with classical music, folk, medieval approach to their singing. They're a lot like Tall in that respect. The way it has a medieval vibe to the vocals.
Yes.
Um, Complex rhythm patterns. This is where it gets cool for me. Syncopation and time signatures, playing multiple time signatures at once. It's called polymeter. These guys were doing like 5/4, like what Bruford was doing on long
Hmm.
distance runaround, but
Hmm.
doing like 9/4, then going from 15/8 to 7/8, then going to 4/4, 6/4. I mean, it was like, oh my God, I'm having a musical seizure.
Yeah,
Listen,
to listen to them, it's funny and I like them, but they're the type of band where you definitely have to sit down and brace
it's a
yourself.
journey. Yeah, it's a journey.
It's a musical, that's a good way of putting it. It's a musical journey. I will admit, it's not accessible. Maybe their first album is good as you keep
Yeah.
listening to them. Yeah, the
Well,
time
that's my
signature.
favorite album, 1970 with the
It's a good place
Giant.
to start. I think it's a
Yeah,
great one.
yeah.
I think don't.
I'm gonna talk about the albums and how more progressive they get.
Go ahead.
Uh, so they used this is what made them different than any other one except for Crimson. They used brass, so they used horn instruments,
Yep.
like
Yep.
saxophone and things like that, and they used a lot more percussion. So that made them very different than say Yes. There was no saxophone in Yes
No, no,
or
no. And we
ELP.
talked about the saxophone within rock music. It's kind of difficult to, without turning into like Motown or soul,
Yeah,
or cheesy sometimes. I think Bruce Springsteen mastered it. Supertramp, by the way, I don't know if you're going to talk about Supertramp. I mean,
yeah,
as one of the disciples, but they incorporated the sax in some of their music. But yeah, they're one of the rare ones that actually,
yeah,
instead of the
yeah. Well,
flute.
Supertramp did it, I think, so successful with the
Mm.
clarinet. Like
Mhm.
I don't know how many bands could pull off a clarinet like Supertramp did. That's amazing. Um, they used that. They used percussion instruments. They were very classically trained, so they use just like Emerson. They use classical structures, fugues, in mer. I'm gonna say it wrong probably. Married, Madrigal, marriage, marriage.
I
How
don't
do you
even
say
know what
that
that
word?
is. Mandolin?
Marriage. Magadrill forms. It's a form of
Oh, Madrigal,
yeah,
Madrigal,
madrigal
From
form.
Brush,
Yeah.
Madrigal. Remember?
It's a Renaissance form.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Very ren
I
yo, their music is very Renaissance. It's very
yeah.
English. Like it reminds me of like listening to something Arthurian, King Arthur.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
right out there. Yeah,
it's weird,
it's
and I feel like that's an element of British progressive rock and a lot of the music,
oh yeah, definitely.
So
It's
they're
kings and
definitely,
queens. Yeah.
yeah, they're on the extreme. Like you want to listen to what progressive rock can offer. They're one of the bands that, or I would say, one pure progressive rock.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's basically them, covering them. Albums I suggest 1970 Gentle Giant with the big giant on it. Songs on there, Funny Ways, Nothing at All. I
Mhm.
like I said, I had that album as a small child. I think I bought it because I thought it was Jack and the Beanstalk. And I put it on and probably ran away from it. You know what I mean? It's like,
That's a scary album cover. That looks like a giant that steals kids, man.
well, I mean, I picked it up much later in my life and was like, wow. I think I picked it up again at 14 because we had it laying around and I was like just picking up the bass and going like, wow,
hmm
like how do you get that good? You know? 1972, Three Friends, Prologue, Working All Day is a great song. 1972, Octopus, The Adventures of Pan Erg. In 1976, they're dying down the interview, and then they have a song, they had kind of a hit song called The Boys in the Band, and Just the Same. So I would definitely recommend Gentle Giant if you're a prog guy or gal
hmm
to listen to and check out. You know, because they're not like Yes, they're more like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and they're just way crazy, crazy, crazy prog. I would say the proggiest, them and Camel might be the proggiest of the
Yep.
prog
Yep.
and the avant-garde side of things, where they're just
Mhm.
doing stuff that you're just like, oh my God, I don't know if I could take it anymore. Like it would be like Relayer would be
Yeah, that
a
yeah, like
similar. If you like Relayer, you're gonna like Gentle Giant,
yeah.
but every song is like what is the song you like and Joe likes off of Relayer? I can't. My brain is
Gates of
dead right now.
Delirium, right?
Yeah,
Delirium?
every song is like Gates of Delirium on
Mm.
steroids.
hmm
So if you can handle it, it's cool. I love it. I love it. So anything on Gentle Giant?
No, let's move on.
Okay. So the next band I really thought about and I had to bring them in, Wishbone Ash. Now, did you get a chance to
I did,
uh,
yeah, they're actually pretty good. It was funny, like
yeah.
I was looking at a little research into them, but they're not like it's progressive, but I don't know, like it's funny. I will say no one mentions Wishbone Ash as progressive
Yeah.
rock. So you're the
Oh
only
no.
one that makes that argument.
Yeah, no, they are. They're definitely prog rock, but they got other sides.
Mm.
Like the way other like Pink Floyd kind of
hmm
drifted.
Yep.
Wishbone Ash started out um proggy and mellow, and then they got into blues. They always
Mm.
had a blue, they had a blues element to them. They had a
hmm
folk element to them, but they're definitely proggy because they started something that no band ever did, the twin guitars. They
Okay,
had
so
two,
that's pretty important for metal and
yeah, they
yeah,
had two
and
guitar
Iron Maiden.
players. They inspired Leonard Skinner. The Phoenix became Freebird.
Mm.
That's a fact. And if you listen to Warrior and the Phoenix,
hmm
Steve Harris, huge, huge influence.
Mm.
So before I talk about them and stop me, because I don't want to go too much, I got to just bring up a couple of stories about them. I discovered them in high school because
Mm.
of Steve Harris. I wanted to know everything the guy listened to, and Tull, Genesis, and I went out
hmm
and got the albums. And he talked about this weird band called Wishbone Ash, who I was like, that's a cool name. Hard to find their albums. I actually ordered it in the flea market at the booth, at the metal booth. The guy had it, and I ordered some other stuff.
Mm.
I ordered Argus and the first album and Live Dates. So I really got into Wishbone Ash in high school. Then from 1985, I listened to them, through the years. Around 1999, I get a call from who our manager was in Deep River Meltdown. They said, "Guess who you're opening up for in New Jersey?
Mm.
Wishbone Ash."
Yeah, I remember you telling me the story.
So I got to open up for my heroes, my idols that I
What
loved
what
in
what
high
band
school.
were you in at the time?
Deep River Meltdown.
Deep River Meltdown.
We were
Awesome.
basically trying to sound like the Black Crows in Humble Pie. You know, we were
Mm.
we were, we were that in Sabbath.
Hmm.
We have an EP that's out there. You could probably still get it on Amazon. So
What
we
year was this?
19. I was in that band from 1998 to
Right.
2007. We were like Wishbone Ash. We went through many lineup changes.
Mm.
We kept me and the singer stayed together. The singer was phenomenal. We stayed together till about 2007. But the for that band, the height of it was 1998 to 2021 when the original guitar player left, and then we just really never got to the end to the
Mm.
level that we were. We had a huge fan base, played out all over Westchester. So we got this
But the
gig.
fact that you opened up for Wishbone Ash, which
I
is
mean,
interesting.
literally right before Wishbone Ash.
Yeah, folks out there, Cheech was is famous.
I got to open up for
Don't underestimate him.
my heroes, Wishbone Ash. Like it was
Yeah,
like when I
it's a
got the
dream.
call. And at that time, the band was hungry. Not like my previous band when I got calls from JJ French, who we
Mm.
can open up for Twisted Sister. Oh, I can't on that day. I got to go buy toilet paper or whatever nonsense that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
literally, dude, we were hungry. We wanted to make it. So, we get to the venue. We're sound checking, watching Wishbone Ash sound check. I go up to Andy Powell, who is famous for playing on Ashes Are Burning on
Mm.
Renaissance when we get
Hmm.
there. Go up to him, tell him I'm a big fan. You guys doing the Phoenix tonight? He's like, of course, really start to talk to him. So he says to me, "Oh, wow, I'm glad you're a fan. I'm looking forward to seeing your band." And then as he walks away from me, he goes, "I'm going to be watching you." And he points to me. And I was like, so happy, where's Andy Powell, And then I'm like,
Mm.
wait, did he just say he's going to be watching me? Then it kicked in. Holy shit. Andy Powell said he's going to be watching me play tonight. So the minute we go into our first song, I look over on the side of the stage, arms crossed. There's Andy Powell watching Deep River Meltdown and watching me. And I was like, I feel like I was in a dream. I'm like a guy, a rock star, unsung hero, a guy I listened to in high school. Loved my band, watched me. At the end of our set, he's like, "Great job, mate. Great job. I love your sound. What was that second song called?" And I told him and stuff. So that was a big, big thing for me.
Mm.
So I could always, say, "Hey, that's my claim to fame almost."
Mm.
Um, and then the third thing was when my daughter Zoe was born, Wishbone Ash was played in my house
Mm.
from when she was 1 till about 5. That's all I listened to was Wishbone Ash
Mm.
constantly. So the memories I have of my baby being born, the soundtrack is Wishbone Ash
Right. But it
forever.
was so Wishbone Ash, but so obviously they learned from the progressive rock bands, I'm assuming, for their sound.
Um, they were inspired probably by more guitar-driven bands like Jimi
So
Hendrix and
so
Cream.
but do you think they're then if that's the case, do you think they're prophets then, or just
Oh,
you make the argument?
they're disciples. They're disciples.
Mm.
Oh, no, they're prophets because they started twin guitar. They invented twin guitar. They're the
Okay.
inventors of that. And they also were heavily influenced by that song, What's This? What's This I sent you? It's
Mm.
total jazz scat. So they were influenced by jazz and blues. Unique band. Everybody should check out Wishbone Ash.
Mm.
Uh, check out the first album, Wishbone Ash, the
Hmm.
song called The Phoenix, which became Freebird.
Hmm.
The ending is Freebird. Skinner definitely was inspired. Steve Harris inspired by the Phoenix in every Maiden song.
Mm.
Next album, Argus, their biggest album. It has like a Darth Vader looking guy on the cover. The song Warrior, it sounds like a Maiden song. And Throw Down the Sword
Mm.
is a great one. And another album called There's the Rub. You want to talk about instrumental prog rock, a song called Fub that makes them proggy as it gets, 1974.
Mm,
So Wishbone Ash is definitely a prog, disciple band, and they're amazing, So, and I have history with them,
mm.
So anyway, any questions on Wishbone Ash before
No,
we?
pretty good.
So people out there, check out Wishbone
Check
Ash.
out Wishbone Ash.
Okay, now I'm gonna throw this to you now. Me and you debated about it, but they got to be on here. Wishbone Ash is on here, and I might get shit, but they're on here. I put them on here. Pink
Mm.
Floyd.
Yeah, so Pink Floyd are definitely progressive.
Yeah.
But it's kind of dubious or nebulous because they're an interesting band, only because they started out in the psychedelic world.
Yeah.
Sid Barrett was also, I'll be honest with you, he's not the best guitarist. He's not really technical either. What he is style and especially like the psychedelia, and he was inventive in his guitar playing. So
Yeah.
it's interesting with Piper at the Gates of Dawn. That is a weird album. It's psychedelic, it's spacey. Definitely the kind of album where and actually I remember the band used to play for raves like back in those days where people would just take drugs and they would kick
Yeah.
in Interstellar Overdrive and have like these 30
Yeah.
minute like weird improvisational
They
jams.
they started EDM. They
I
got to the
mean, kind of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, certain somebody should sample some Piper at the Gates of Dawn
yeah.
stuff.
Oh God,
Um,
the young kids will
Now,
love it.
when they became progressive is on albums. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna. I definitely think they're progressive. I know you take the idea like maybe not. Um,
Well, they have the concepts of Prague, and that's what you need. And to be Prague, you got to have a concept album in your Prague.
hmm.
You know, they use that. They
Wait, is
use
that the only reason why, or time
um,
signatures?
uh, yeah, money. What was it? What time is it? 7/4.
Mhm.
Um, concepts.
The band has one of the greatest guitarists considered of all time, David
Gilmore.
Gilmour. He's top. When anyone thinks guitarist, they think Gilmour.
For me, he's not in my top. Because I come
Ooh,
from
you're
I
gonna
come
hit.
I because I'm coming from Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Tony Iommi,
Right.
uh,
See, this is a hot take. Like
Clapton,
I
Tom
consider
Morello,
him
Blackmore.
I consider him one of the greatest, only because his guitar lines are like ethereal. Like he's
Well,
able to um and well anyway, so we'll have a Pink Floyd episode. We should definitely have one. But
he's,
anyway,
he's a great guitar player, and no one sounds
we'll
like.
we'll, we'll have a Pink Floyd episode where we'll
Yeah, no
debate
one
this.
sounds like Gilmore,
Um
but
but yeah, they
he's
are progressive, man. Only
definitely.
because
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
starting with they have a prehistoric. And by the way, I'm a Pink Floyd expert because one of my
Oh, yeah.
favorite bands of all time. I've dissected their music. I've wrote a paper on Sid Barrett's back in college on his intake, his schizophrenia, and actually his first album was very schizophrenic too. You
Oh
want to
yeah,
hear a schizophrenic mind, you
yeah.
just
He
listen to
was.
the album. It's fascinating. But they become progressive, but they were still in their exploratory phase on Adam Heartmother and Metal.
Mhm.
It's not till they reach Dark Side, I didn't, but Dark Side, the Dark Side of the Moon, which wait, is that the album by Dark Side of the Moon? What?
Yeah,
Why am I
yeah,
thinking that's weird? Dark Side of the Moon, right?
yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Side.
yeah.
That is one long prog suite.
Yeah.
The album is meant to be played as one suite. Like, yeah,
Right.
you could take some singles like Money,
Yeah.
um,
But it's a
uh,
concept album
but
that
it's
makes
a
them rock.
concept
Yeah.
looking into the
It has the
the
two elements, concept and odd meter.
yes, and
No.
lyrically too, where it tackles themes of human nature and musically as well, and
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
using electronic soundscapes that were not really a thing,
Yeah.
back in those days. Um, Considered also one of the greatest albums production wise. I mean, they
Yeah.
popularized this idea of progressive music as well, and it's actually fascinating because on the album you get yeah some of the greatest music you'll ever hear. Like it's really it's like the Led Zeppelin 4. Like it's
Yeah.
so great. Everyone has heard of it. The album cover is iconic. They created probably one of the most classic progressive rock album covers.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely. I
but if,
mean, my thing is I'm always comparing prog rock bands to the four, the big four of Genesis, yes, ELP and Crimson. And I always was like, Floyd, they're not as proggy, but they are. They're a prog rock band.
mm,
I'll give them that, definitely. So,
well, I think they joined the ranks with Animals. I think that album
oh
alone
yeah. Yeah.
cements them as a
I mean,
progressive rock band.
I have just, some
Yeah.
hit songs everybody knows, Wish You Were Here, Money, Shine On Crazy Diamond, Have a Cigar, Hey Teacher. Then you have Pipers at the Gates of Dawn, Animals, The
And when
Wall.
you say "Hey Teacher," you're talking about the song "Another Brick in the Wall," parts
Yes.
one, two, and three.
Yep. So that now that's pro now
That's what I'm
that's
saying. Like,
pro.
dude, if
Yeah.
anything, dude, I think these should be the fifth gospel. They're kind of like the gospel of Thomas, the apocryphal,
Right, right.
where they are progressive, man. I mean, but
No,
the only
I
difference, here's the difference that the dude they sold. I'll be honest, they sold more records than the four combined.
oh yeah.
So
Yeah, oh
just
the big
think about that, and they look like and again, it would piss off David Waters, but they were good looking dudes, all of them.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, they look like rock gods on stage. I mean, you have the iconic Pompeii performance. Have you ever seen that? Where they're
Yeah.
shirtless, like,
But you got to remember they had the songs, they had the hooks.
hmm
They
And
had the hooks.
that too, they embrace the blues also, which,
Yeah.
I think a lot of prog rock bands, I mean, it makes sense 'cause it's too simple, but they actually still embrace those classic structures, which it makes sense. And then that's why they became so popular.
Yeah, I mean compared to Gentle Giant, they're not prog. You know
And
what I
their
mean?
album
But
covers are cooler. The
yeah,
story
yeah,
of their album covers are really cool too. Like I feel
yeah,
like no, Jethro John is really unique. It's like Jethro Tull's Aqualung
yeah,
album cover. It's
yeah,
weird though. It's weird. But
yeah.
um Pink Floyd has classic album covers, starting with the dark. I mean, Adam Hartmother with the cow, which is weird.
Mhm.
Metal, Dark Side of the Moon. Their Wish You Were Here album cover is a iconic cover with the man on flames, which is an actual photo.
Yeah,
Um, Animals. I mean, come on. I mean, with the pig in the sky, I think it's kind of funny. And the
yeah.
factories, it's anti-capitalism, which I don't agree with, but that's just me. But and another brick in the wall, classic.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll probably have an episode on them, maybe in the future. But
You
yeah,
know, definitely prog rock. It took
definitely
me a
student,
while.
definitely disciple though.
A disciple. It took me a while because I'm comparing them too much to ELP, and yes, and they're definitely prog. And one of the greatest bands of all time when you think
hmm
about it.
hmm
In history.
And rock.
Yeah, in rock music. Okay. Next band, the wonderful Jethro Tull, man.
hmm
Now another one who does not want to be considered prog,
No, no.
but they are very proggy.
hmm
I'm not comparing them to the big four, but they are proggy. You listen to their first couple albums, 1969, Stand Up and Benefit. That's a prog rock band
Yeah,
right there.
that's why I'm
You
kind
know
of
that's
surprised why they don't consider themselves prog. Like I never really understood that.
I guess the label started to come out then, art rock and stuff, and they
Mm.
didn't want to be a part of that. They just wanted to be like rock. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
rock. You know. Um. So I'm gonna just well name before I get into the big one, but they blend rock, folk, classical, harpsichord, glockenspiel, timpani, violin, lute, and of course flute. They were a commercial success, and everyone loved them. Some of their hit songs, Locomotive Breath, Cross-Eyed Mary, Aqualung, Hymn 43, your favorite, and
hmm
Teacher, albums to listen to, Stand Up, Aqualung, Benefit, Songs from the Wood. And the big one, this is the Prague, thick as a brick. One continuous piece of music split over two sides. It was the fifth studio album. It was made as a joke towards concept albums,
Mm.
pretty much. And its concept is odd. I can't even figure it out, but this is what I got from it. It's a poem by an 8-year-old boy genius named Gerald Bostock, and that's the theme. And like I said earlier, it blends all those elements of flute, harpsichord, timpani, violin. It's all in there, So, you know,
Mm.
that's tall. I mean, tall is tall. They're so unique. Nobody sounds like them. Think about it. You know, no band in the world sounds like Jethro Tull.
No, no, they're very unique, and it's funny though because I don't know what they consider themselves though, because yeah, you're right. And there's on those first albums, no offense, they sound progressive. They have all the elements in
Yeah.
it, which
And it's
I'm kind of
hard. The only thing is they were heavier than any of these bands. They're the heaviest prog rock
that
band.
is the difference. Yeah, their influence on heavy metal is more, especially with
Yeah,
Aqualung. And
yeah,
they created one of the greatest riffs. Like if you do a top 10 guitar riffs,
yeah.
they're responsible for creating yeah, and that song is very progressive. It's strange how that became a hit.
Yeah.
Aqualung is interesting too because there's a lot of blues hard rock structures. Like they're heavy.
Yes.
They're one of
Yeah,
the, and
yeah,
you you hear metal in it. Like
yeah,
and
yeah,
obviously they become actually they become their own worst I guess enemy because they
yeah,
became really progressive with Thick as a Brick and this other album called Passion Play,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
found fascinating. But yeah, no, they are progressive. And
And
they're
Silky Joe's favorite album, Bursting Out, the live album.
which is
You know,
odd. Yeah, like what an
yeah,
odd, great way. Like yeah,
yeah.
just show you his taste. Um, but yeah, fantastic stuff. Aqualung is classic. I mean, every track
I,
there's
I think they pioneered metal along with Sabbath.
yeah, yeah, no, for
No,
sure.
that's what they're gonna be like. Wishbone Ash is known for. Let's just go back a little. Wishbone Ash is known for the twin guitars. That's their thing.
Yep.
Pink Floyd, psychedelic, hard rock, prog rock, conceptual stuff, and tall fathers of heavy metal.
Yep.
You know, with other bands too, like Blue Chair, and we talked about this on previous episodes.
Mhm.
On Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. You know, so Jethro Tull, go out and listen to them, but listen to the stuff you don't normally listen to, like Benefit. I think it's Glenn Cornick on bass. Stand Up, the first album. Just go and listen to that, because you'll really hear that prog sensibility that they really, really have, and that's why they're so important in the prog
Yeah.
Bible. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
any questions on them?
No, no, pretty good. Let's keep going. How many bands you got left? Out of curiosity, just for time's
Uh,
sake.
let me see. I got about three more.
Let's do it.
Okay. Um, so next one is Camel.
Hmm.
Now, for those of you who don't know Camel, they are considered Canterbury. So they came out in the 60s from Kent, England with the Canterbury sound. Not sure if I really count them as Canterbury in my ears because they don't sound like Caravan too much and they don't sound like
Mm.
Soft Parade or Egg or Gong, but they sound like Dream Theater, I think, took a lot from them.
Mm.
So they're known for their atmospheric sound, blending jazz and classical rock fusion, lush instrumentation.
Mm.
They have a cinematic feel, almost like Genesis in a
Hmm.
sense. Musical storytelling. That's the key with them,
Mm.
musical storytelling.
So much different than Gentle Giant, a little more accessible, it sounds like.
Yeah, more accessible than Gentle Giant, but proggy, but in the same element, they are definitely they're proggy like that. They have that prog
Right, right.
sound. Um, some key albums: Snow Goose, Mirage with the camel on it. Some songs to check out: Lunar Sea, Song Within a Song, and Lady Fantasy. So that's just a quick,
Yeah. What
Camel.
what's a good album to start? I think the original May debut.
Um,
What
I
do you
would
think?
probably say Mirage is my favorite album with the camel on it.
Right, that's the one. Yeah, and it's funny. I
Yeah,
think that's the is that the cigarette logo? Remember that
it
cigarette
is. It
camel?
is. It's a goof on that.
That is
Yeah.
so funny.
So once again, the album covers are key to these bands. It's like
Yeah, they have the
it's
coolest album covers.
a Gentle Giant and Camel. You're not gonna forget that. Rush,
Yeah.
Caress and Steel.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like pop art. It's almost like Andy Warhol in a sense. They're using a cigarette box
Oh, the
for the,
camels. Yeah,
you
that
know,
I always saw that album cover and was always thinking
yeah,
about it. Like that's such a strange album cover, like to have that yeah, logo, the cigarette logo? Cigarette
yeah.
brand?
Back in the 70s, everybody smoked, and Camels was a popular brand. So, and they just went with it. I don't know how they didn't get sued because it looked just like the
Hmm.
cigarette. I
Yeah.
had a cousin that smoked that, and I remember, you know. Anyway, I had to throw this band in. Let's go back uh, during the Crimson years, or around that time. The
Hmm.
Nice. After we did our ELP, I said, let me go back and revisit the Nice.
I know
And I had gotten into,
you mentioned them. I don't, but yeah, I guess they were
yeah,
English progressive rock, and famously for having one of the members, Keith Emerson.
yeah, yeah. That's how Keith
That's
Emerson got.
why just that name alone.
Yeah, you got to mention the Nice. And I had the album in high school again, and I didn't
Did they have a
listen to
top
it.
hit? A top hit?
They had a song called America, which was pretty popular
Okay.
for them at that time.
Okay.
So I would say check out the Nice, an English prog band in the late 60s. Keith Emerson was the star. He
Hmm.
was like the Jimi Hendrix, classical rock, jazz. Main attraction was Emerson. So I sent it to you. They did a Dave Brubeck song called Rondo. They
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
rockified it,
Right.
you know.
I feel
Um,
like that's what they did. I know that America, I think I read somewhere when I was doing research for this. It's actually from West Side Story. It's a cover.
oh,
It's
really?
weird.
It's
Yeah,
that song?
they're
Na, na,
weird.
na,
Yeah,
na, 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 na.
their selections. What? Yeah, you do. That's the West Side Story.
Holy shit! I didn't even put two and two
Yeah,
together on
the
that.
Nice are weird. Yeah, like they're definitely progressive, just but very strange. And their album covers have weird titles. Like they're definitely very Canterbury.
Yeah, and they get a little dark. Asriel, Angel of Death. That's a cool
Mm.
song. That's a great song to check out by them.
The Nice, though, right? The
Yeah.
Nice, right? Yeah.
The best album is The Nice, 1969. Thoughts of Emerless, Dave Jack, 1968. So, just a little blurb on The Nice. If
Hmm.
you like Keith Emerson and you want to see him evolving as the beast he became,
Yep.
listen to The Nice, and they're pretty good. And it's cool to hear The Nice and then put some King Crimson on, 21st Century Schizoid Man, then jump over to Arthur Brown, and you can hear Carl Palmer. So you can hear all the influences in these bands. Atomic Rooster.
Hmm.
Okay, now hope I do a good job because I don't want Silky Joe to be mad at me on this one.
Why?
Okay, because this is his favorite band in the world, Renaissance.
Oh, Renaissance. Yeah. Now that band is definitely underrated. Like, first of all,
Yeah.
I never heard of them until you guys mentioned them.
And now Silky Joe loves them, so I want to do good here. So I was in the Renaissance as a kid. I knew who they were. I can't say I had any other albums, but I
But
did.
have you listened to their stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a
A-
compilation
And they're kind of
album.
hard to find because I'm at Apple Music and like they're kind of hard.
Yeah, I was in middle school when I got a compilation of Renaissance because that's when I was starting my art rock phase, and it had Ashes Are Burning. And then I was like, I didn't know anything about Wishbone Ash or nothing then, but I just liked that song. So as a kid, the only song I knew was Ashes Are Burning, and I loved that song. Then eventually I went on and I bought the album. What was the album I had
I know
gotten?
Joe Book live at Carnegie Hall.
Illusion. I had the album Illusion at one point in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good. It's a good album. Another hit is Carpet of the Sun, Northern Lights.
Mm.
Um, and I would say check out 1973's Ashes Are Burning. That's, Joe's favorite song, and that's my favorite song by them because looking back at it now, it has Andy Powell on it, which was a great combination to have him play the guitar solo.
Mm.
Because he kind of fits in. He could have been in that band, Andy
Mm-hmm.
Powell, his
Mm-hmm.
style and stuff. So, I highly recommend them. And what made them different, what made Renaissance different? Let's make Silky Joe proud of us on this.
It's the one of I think it's the only one that feature a female singer,
Yeah.
lead
See,
singer.
I
I mean,
can't
there's
think.
probably others, but I think in terms of the classics, I think they're the only ones.
Yeah, yeah.
But what's weird is in Apple Music, not a lot of their albums are here, so they're kind of luckily that live album's there though.
Yeah, yeah. And that's probably the main. I would recommend the live Renaissance album, Carnegie Hall, if you want to get started to learn everything by
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
They're, wouldn't say they're a hard listen. They're different. They're different. They got a girl singer, beautiful voice, a great bass player. If you're a bass player, I forgot the guy's name. Sorry, Joe. I get a minus on that. I get my UPT. I get one UPT taken away.
UPT taken away.
Sorry, but the bass player is phenomenal.
Mm,
The singer's phenomenal. So check out Renaissance. Now, next band. What a weird name. And I send you some of their stuff.
mm.
Van Grafter Generator.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is at all.
Now, that's going deep in the prog rock world, digging, deep.
Hmm.
They were very proggy, symphonic. They had woodwinds and flutes and things like that. Odd meter, very,
Wait, what's that? Bands. What's the name of the band?
Van Vandergraaf Generator.
Band. I'm assuming they weren't that commercially popular.
No, but somebody's favorite band in the world is this band, Rush. That's how I
I,
learned of them. That's how I learned about them as a
let me
kid.
see. An English progressive rock. Yeah, but definitely for that album. I mean that band name. I mean,
I,
it's just.
I think it has something to do with an inventor,
I think so. Yeah.
guy who invented something.
Mm,
I don't know. But philosophical lyrics, very intricate music. Not gonna get too deep into them. You could listen to them. They're a hard listen. Um, the last we can do is wave to each other, 1971. The Aerosol Gray Machine, 1969. Pawn Hearts, 1971. And Rush's main influence. They basically art rock. They epitomize art rocks, complex arrangements, keyboard, saxophone, very
mm,
avant-garde, symphonic elements. They had it all. They have it all for
mm.
prog rock. They have everything you want in prog rock. This band has,
Yeah.
and they inspired the Three Kings.
There
So
we go. There we go.
that's all I have. But I have one extra one that I'm going to
Mm,
throw at you.
mm.
So I'm going to throw something really quick at you. People from the Netherlands. What do you call them?
Dutch, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
Dutch.
Call them Dutch. Now, me and Manny been having a little joke about the Dutch
Oh yeah,
lately,
it's right by House
in
of
a
Paris.
fun way. We don't want to, no, we don't want to offend anyone from the
No, no, no. It's
Netherlands.
just good fun, good humor.
But I think it was Yes who held something against the Dutch.
Yeah, which is,
No, not Yes, Rick Wakeman.
yeah, yeah.
But we can't forget a great. Now I'm getting away from England, so the English are going to get mad at this if you're an English prog guy, but
Hmm. Hmm.
you have to bring this man up. And Focus,
Hmm.
Hocus Pocus. They're from the Netherlands.
And,
And
they're a one-hit wonder though, technically, right?
Technically, they're a one-hit wonder. They had another song called Super Sister besides Hocus Pocus. Prague with a pop sound and jazzy fusion. They use flute and cello. Um, and they were very avant-garde, so we had to bring up the Dutch.
Yeah, the Dutch. Yeah, so the band's called Focus, and then um, right, the band's called Focus.
Yeah, Focus. Yeah,
Right, that's
the big
fascinating.
hits. They have yodeling in
And
it.
Morning Waves has that Hocus Pocus song.
Yeah, yeah, that was the big one, and that made it
Very
to the radio. Made it to the radio.
right,
So
right. That's fascinating. Yeah, the Dutch. The Dutch conclude this segment. The Dutch is like some of those students out in like Ethiopia or something, or
yeah,
like they're out there like
yeah. So I had to throw that in a little bit of a joke between me and Manny, but also they need to be known.
yeah.
Listen to Focus. They're
Mm.
if you like prog rock,
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant band. Heavy. They were heavy too, like Tull. They were a little bit like Tull and Canterbury if they
Mm.
had a baby. That would be my thing on that. So those are the disciples.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any more. If you could think of any more
We
prog rock.
mentioned him, Mike Oldfield.
Oh shit, yeah. I
Tubular
didn't.
Bells. I mean, just for our viewers out there, yes, you know progressive rock because if you listen to the opening piano lines to the at this point so iconic. It's like John Williams's Jaws theme song, you
Yeah,
know. Dun
yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun dun like dun 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 dun. This opens up Tubular Bells,
Oh
his
yeah,
two-side epic suite avant-garde. He's from the Canterbury scene. He
yeah.
got popular with that piano line to this prog rock masterpiece, multi-instrumentalist Mike Oldfield. I think he's one of the in the movie world. He definitely popularized
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He
progressive
made
rock.
yeah, he made The Exorcist. He put the horror in The Exorcist with that music, you know. And he did a Christmas album, which we're gonna do a deep dive next Christmas on, which has got to be insane. We found that out a little bit. I found that out later, but
Yeah, we should
you
do
know,
like
so
prog Christmas special next year. Talk about like
Jethro
the
Tull also did a Christmas album.
they did, yeah.
Yeah,
Talk about progressive right there, right?
you
Like
know.
I think that's yeah, but.
So
This was good, man. These are the students or disciples of progressive rock.
yeah.
So these are on the fringes, right? Like, and when I say fringes, I'm not saying like obscura. Like like we talked about the four, and then these are like kind of like right here.
Yeah, and this is up into a certain year too. People might
Yes,
say, we
I
already
know. What
talked
was your
about,
cutoff year? It might be controversial, but you said 74.
well, I said 76, and I don't count UK in this because UK came out in 78. So, and UK was a supergroup, which we're going to talk about in our next episode. So, UK is not a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we talked about was Canterbury. Just to recap, if I could think of them all, I probably could. Caravan, Egg, Bronze, Soft Machine, Camel. Those were the big Canterbury scenes. Caravan being number one, leading to the big four being King Crimson, ELP, Yes,
Mm.
and Genesis, leading to the Disciples, Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, Camel,
I
Van
feel
Crafter.
sorry to interrupt you, but I feel the spirit of the metal table. We need to do an episode of on these disciples in America.
American Prague.
The disciples, but a separate I feel like they deserve their own separate
Well, we
episode.
definitely that would be. Let me just recap
Yeah,
where I was. Camel, Gentle Giant, Van Grafter Generator,
because these are all
Renaissance,
English.
yeah, Wishbone Ash, and then that's it.
And,
Anybody else in the Dutch? I forgot the
and the
Dutch
Dutch.
focus.
And
Yeah,
the Dutch. And dude, progressive rock influence on rock in Espanol, especially in Argentina. Dude,
oh my
that
God,
should be
yeah,
its
that,
own. I think we should do the American. I you handle the American and I'll handle the south of
yeah,
the
yeah.
border. Because you have
That'd
no
be
idea Prague's influence in Argentina.
actual Prague bands.
Dude, more proggy than what we see here, and especially also Brazil too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
insane.
just to show, and it's funny how progressive rock has its influence on like the English speaking world just shows you how powerful that genre is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And then, my 1976 is when it's over. Actually, no, 1974 it's over.
Hmm.
Like because everything I talked about, all these bands, every band I
You know,
mentioned,
rock is going to evolve, I think, if you want to call it that. Like because
oh,
rock goes.
except Pink Floyd, they get a pass.
Well, they're crazy for releasing animals during this like period because at that point, uh, I mean, at least I'm on the youth, right? You got to think about like the people in the '60s. They were growing up. Now we're talking about.
Yeah,
It's just funny. I just feel as though that there's always been this idea. I've been kind of like thinking about it, but like teenage rebellion is that
yeah,
really a thing to rebel against? What your parents say. That's always been a rock and roll thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but with, like yeah, it's interesting because Pink Floyd released Animals in '77, I think, and,
Hmm.
and and they even continued double albums. At that point, I don't think double albums are fashionable anymore.
No, no.
So they had the cojones to release, and actually kind of dark and cynical and very weird when you really get down to it. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever listened to the whole album. Roger Waters has some issues in his head, like
Oh yeah,
he's
he's
cynical, he's
twisted.
dark. One song, "Mother, Can We Drop the Bomb?"
I love that
No,
song.
it's great, but he definitely had like a
And you know what
Freudian.
I love about that song? I remember my mother always yelling at me. I would sing it. So because it was on that heavy metal soundtrack movie. Mother, do you think
Thing.
they'll drop the bomb? Or what's the first
Mother, do
lyric?
you think they bust my balls?
Mother, do you think they'll try to break
And then Devin
my
Gilmore's like,
fall?
don't you cry." It's
I
weird.
mean, it's typical English humor. I would
Such
sing
an
that.
English thing.
My
Yeah.
mother's like, "What are
Yeah.
you singing? Don't sing that."
Or
And
or
then you're
even
like,
like
"So
another
what?"
dude, the fact that it actually makes sense because another Brick in the Wall Part 2 was a hit because of the disco elements. It makes sense. But it is
Yeah,
weird. If you don't eat your meat, how can you have any pudding? How can you have any
exactly.
pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Oh my God. Yeah,
It's
that's
weird. All in
insanity. Yeah.
all, it's just another brick in the
But
wall.
it's amazing. It's so
No, and they
catchy.
added childhood choirs. I mean, dude, that's ballsy. What
That is proggy.
Roger
But
Waters has some balls for what he did on the
genius.
album.
But
It's dark too.
he gets a pass. They get a pass. On my mark. Where real prog, and it's true. I think real prog like died. It ended in 74.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
No,
then
no, no. Oh,
Pink,
no, Cheech, I agree with your cutoff point. My
yeah.
point is that Pink Floyd were ballsy for releasing these
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
were releasing at a time when rock was changing.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
rebellious nature was turning into punk. New wave was coming out, so now you have the
Disco. Yeah.
incorporation of more like minimal sounds, which I think was influenced by Kraftwerk and like, whatever.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
where reggae, ska is coming into the mix. MTV is gonna end up really having a this. So anyway, my point is like, no, you're right. I like that cutoff point.
Yeah.
Um, and especially like I think one of the Revelation album is The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and I think Peter
70,
Gabriel was kind of smart to leave it because he knew. I think he knew that
yeah, he knew it.
the sounds were changing.
And then in 75, the new sounds come up. Fly By Night came out and Caress of Steel. And then that was Prague, and that like you think about
Well,
especially
no,
Caress.
and that my thesis. Why were Rush hated? Because they were progressive when it was not fashionable anymore. But
Exactly.
but for the kids who did not grow up on progressive rock, they discovered a whole new genre, which is
Exactly.
when you think
Yeah,
about it.
think about yeah. If you're 10 years old in 1970 and you're really getting into music, or eight or like 9 or 8 or whatever, and then you don't know what prog is, and then you're a little
No,
older in 75 and then Rush
right.
comes out, then you're like, wow, this is awesome. And there were probably some people that heard Caress of Steel and went backwards. It
Yes,
was like,
yes. And no, and it's fascinating. And just from a Rush fan perspective, you can disagree with this. Their debut is Led Zeppelin. I don't care what you say. I know you're gonna. Dude, riffs are bound.
oh no, oh, I agree with you.
Getty sounds like Robert Plant on Helium. You know, like I know. And I know, man, like I'm a working man. And
You
then
mean
Fly By
I've always
Night.
had a love for it. I've always had a love for the first
No, no, no,
album.
it's great. No, 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 I
Yeah,
love it. It's just very
yeah,
riffy. I mean, songwriting is it's okay, but it's like the
yeah, yeah.
blues rock, you know.
The
It's not.
lyrics aren't the greatest, like
No, 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 no. But Fly By Night, you have the first taste. But you know what's interesting with Fly By Night? It's weird because it's very transitional in my opinion, but it's very poppy. It's not. They get proggy on Crest of Steel, which they lose a lot of people, but they get
yeah,
too weird, too weird. And
yeah.
then they master the perfect Zen middle with 2112. But it's funny, they release it at a point when progressive rock, I'll be honest with you, the young cool cats are not listening to progressive
No,
rock.
not
Rolling
74.
Stone always hated progressive rock, so the fact that they release a
Yeah, yeah,
progressive
yeah,
rock album is not
yeah,
fashionable at all.
yeah.
Talking
Well,
about,
Rolling Stone hated everything. That's
yeah,
why
they're haters.
I never read that
No,
magazine.
no, no, no. And but I will say to be to not straw man them, but they represented sort of like the rock critics, which they
Yeah,
hated
yeah,
progressive rock. Jethro
yeah,
Tull was hated at one point. Um,
yeah.
so they do this and then they continue it. They don't care. They Farewell to Kings, which released their Xanadu masterpiece that I think makes them transcend. They love, like, I feel like Rush ripped off, and I say this lovingly, but they took a lot from the Big Four when you think
Oh,
about
oh, hell yeah,
but
definitely.
they come
Yeah.
into their own on Xanadu. Hemispheres. Oh my goodness. They now entered the rock, progressive rock's greatest. And then,
Be Before I forget, I looked up Getty's influences on the keys. Not virtuistically, but sounds and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Rick Wakeman.
It makes sense. It makes
Yeah,
sense. And he would say also agree with Tony Banks, even though he like, because he probably won't know, but Tony Banks, like, Tony Banks had this weird, he was a virtuoso, but like, he's able to play very like, din, 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 din,
yeah,
din, like
the tightness, yeah, tight
tightness of it. But
staccato,
yeah,
yeah,
but Rush represents sort of like they're the prophets, right? But at the expense, like they were hated sadly by critics, a lot of
yeah,
fans also. I'm not fans. The music listening public. But
yeah,
luckily they don't care. They stuck to their guns. Anyway, the point is, yeah, Cheech, that was a good list. Uh
yeah.
good
And
cutoff
then
point.
I think the cutoff point is 74. All the bands I mentioned,
The,
cutoff
the the
points.
the height of rock, like the height of
The height
progressive
of
rock.
prog rock, yeah, from the Canterbury scene from 67,
And remember
going
that
back.
video I sent you? He said that year 74 was one of the last great years.
Oh, Getty also said Procol Harum's keyboard player was his
Mm.
influence. I don't know the guy's name, but so Procol Harum, Moody Blues, Canterbury, every band we've ever mentioned up into 74, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Last real prog album.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd gets a pass because they're just geniuses. Tull died down. Tull really died
Yeah, they kind
down.
of became obscure a little bit. I know they had a weird hit, a few weird hits here and there.
Yeah, but nothing.
No, they
They
all they
couldn't.
all fizzled.
They didn't do good
We
in the
should do a
80s, definitely.
separate episode on what happened to these bands, like just quick overviews of like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
doing quick and like critiques of where everybody had.
Well, I don't think like Gentle Giant or Van Grafter Generator or Camel did more than 5 or 6 albums.
They were, I
I
think,
think,
70s was their decade.
yeah, they didn't make it into. Maybe they did reunions and stuff, but they didn't make it into. Crimson obviously went on, way past into the
But
80s.
but not popular. But they were popular, but
No,
commercial,
no,
nah.
no, no. But that's why bands like Rush, they're the ones that like they're. I think the most successful prog band is Rush because they continued
One of
to
them,
this
yeah.
day.
Yeah,
You
one of them.
know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not many other bands could say that they had successful commercial careers and got better and better and better and better
Yeah,
on each album.
yeah, yeah.
So,
All
so
right.
yeah, man. So this was a good episode.
Yes, sir.
Covered a lot on the Disciples. I don't think if we missed any people out there, let us know.
Yeah, if you
I
have any other you think your picks, comment below. Tell us.
I
What do you think
think
of these picks that Cheech talked about?
yeah, I
We talked
researched
about.
it pretty deep, and I think we covered every friggin' prog band. I'm glad you brought up Mike Oldfield because
Yeah.
he was on my list.
Who's our boy?
Oh, there's one. controversial one. You know who I'm gonna say. We talked about it on the phone. Bobby's favorite band.
Oh, I feel like that's a you say Deep Purple, but I don't think so.
I mean, they have prog elements, but they're definitely not a prog band. But they did play with an orchestra before anybody else, so
Hmm.
I give them props for that, and that is a proggy
Oh no, but
move.
the Beatles did it.
True, true. The Beatles did do it, but they
Yeah,
did
Day
it.
in the Life. Hello.
No, no, this is a whole album. This is a whole album. This is like an album dedicated to a band and orchestra.
What year was
You know,
this?
69.
What's the album name? I never knew that.
Oh yeah, look it up. My brain is
That's weird.
uh fried out.
I say no. I just think they're excellent musicians, but I think no
Well,
because
there's a lot of blues.
I think it's more
There's a
blues,
ton of
hard
blues.
rock.
Yeah, yeah. But there are the proggy elements of the
Yeah.
classical. You know, not a prog rock band like, oh, they didn't do any concepts
No, no, no,
albums,
no, no
so
concepts.
they don't really, they don't fit in the prog.
Were
You
you
know,
sure, dude? Because all I have is Deep Purple and Rock, Fireball, Machine Head, and then
no,
after,
if you go further back, it should say
maybe,
Deep
maybe my,
Purple with orchestra,
oh,
I think. Let me
I'll be honest with you, I don't think so, dude. Maybe after.
wait. Hold on, hold on.
I'm looking right here. Is it a live album?
Yeah.
Oh, Concerto.
Yes. Yeah. There it is.
So they were joined. But I feel
It's
like
tough.
that's more Baroque. I don't Baroque pop, Baroque rock. I don't think that's anyway. Anyway,
But
we're
it's
yeah.
proggy. I
No,
mean,
no,
but
for sure. Especially with the organ, especially the,
yeah,
those lines. I
yeah.
just think they're more hard rock, heavy metal.
Oh, I
Um,
agree. I agree with prog
and
elements.
songwriting, like, listen, I love Deep Purple, but their songwriting is like doesn't compare to like what you'll hear on the progressive side of things. I know I'm probably gonna get haters for that one, but you know,
I'm not going
no,
to comment because I
uh,
love Deep
yeah,
Purple. So,
yeah.
but
Anyway,
even though Deep Purple
they,
changed, they went from Hush to hard rock,
yeah. Well, I will say,
Zeppelin.
you know, what's funny, but vocalist wise, Gillian.
Yeah, Ian
Yeah.
Gillan.
I mean, just his vocals. I mean, he should have been in a progressive rock band. I mean, you saw his vocals on Jesus Christ Superstar.
And
I
that's
mean,
progressive rock.
that is progressive rock. Yeah.
Totally,
That is
so
totally progressive rock. And I don't think, um,
let them heal themselves.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Like let them
Yeah,
in.
but yeah, he did a prog rock album.
Yeah.
All those Godspell, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. That's prog rock. The Who,
The Rock. Yeah, now we're going for a can of worms. I think this should be its own episode. Like
the
that's has to
Who,
be.
Tommy. I
Yeah.
mean, that is
They
definitely
developed the double album concept album ideas, which
yes.
is just
So
fascinating. The rock opera. Do we want to include rock opera as progressive? I don't know. Like that's its own
I I,
debate.
I think it could be.
Yeah. The Who
Could
are
be.
also fascinating because like Who's Next has a lot of proggy elements.
Yeah, yeah.
But especially with the
Not a
use of
prog band.
no. But see, that's my argument. Deep Purple, like same thing. Like
Yeah, yeah.
the
They use, let's put it this way, they use prog elements. They're not up there with Graham Graff.
classical
Yeah,
guitar,
yeah,
Baroque,
yeah.
classical arrangements, which for sure. But yeah, Cheech. All right, man. That's pretty
Good
good, brother.
job, man. Another good one. And this is our proggy, not even in the new year, and we're going crazy with the prog.
Might be the last episode we recorded in the new year, though.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry,
So
in the old year, 2025, and we're gonna welcome in 2026, and we're gonna keep progressive
yes,
rock alive. So,
this is
come
like
on.
episode 74. So we 74 episodes in a year. Jesus.
Well, when it comes out, there's probably like 76 or 77,
Wow.
something like that.
Insanity.
Yeah, yeah.
We hit
So.
it hard. We hit it hard this year, man. Great job, Manny. Really, really good. We did good.
For our viewers out there, please like this video, comment, subscribe, share. If you comment, let us know what you think of our opinions. Are we wrong? Are we crazy? Is Deep Purple progressive? You tell us. I say no.
And
Because if we're gonna say Deep Purple's progressive, then the Beatles are progressive. Like,
yeah,
but they're not. Like, and I'm okay with that. You know?
and also um if there's a band I forgot, now
Oh
you could
yes,
put in, you could
any
look up
bands.
prog rock. There's a
Yeah.
million of them. There's a ton of
And
them.
keep them between, I guess, our cutoff because I think, Cheech, there's progressive bands in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
Well,
talking about,
Marillion, we're
we're
talking,
talking about the cutoff point before, I guess we could say 75. Let's keep
yeah,
it.
from 68 to
Yeah. Is there
75.
any bands that we missed? Comment below. Let us know what you think. We'd love to
Yeah,
read it. Cheech reads your
that
comments. I read your
that are
comments.
known, that were known. I named them all. I did I say egg in the
You
Canterbury one? 'Cause
did. You
that's
did.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I mean I named like that's almost 20 bands
I,
of prog rock.
I will say I put a bet on it. I'm not gonna bet money on it, but most of the bands you mentioned, people kind of forgot about. I don't think none of really, unless you're deep embedded like us.
Yeah.
So go out there, listen to some of these albums. After you
Yeah.
do, comment below.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite? We love to hear and
Yeah.
why.
And we're trying to keep the traditional prog rock bands alive. That's what I'm, the whole point of this. You got the big four and
Mhm.
then the ones that people don't talk about. Go out and listen to Egg, go out and listen to Bronze, Caravan, Camel, Gentle Giant, Renaissance, Focus. They're even though they're Dutch, you know,
Dutch.
listen to them. Uh, so we covered it, and we covered North American prog. So next on to supergroups, and that's going to be a fun one. Supergroups of prog, not too many. You know, just a little spoiler alert.
Hmm. Sounds
Uh,
good. Cheers, man. To
all
the
right,
next
man.
time. I'll see you in the new year. We're
Yeah.
probably gonna record more on New Year's. But everybody out there, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're so happy that you're here with us. We're all about positivity. Music is music. Music speaks to the soul. I'll make a little poem here, a little speech, but
Yeah.
a toast to the new year. Cheech, thank you so much, man. This has been
Oh,
one awesome
thank
year.
you. Thank you,
Can't
Manny.
wait to see what we bring into the next year and like what our
Yeah.
show here on YouTube um is also gonna bring. I mean, we want
It
to
was an
bring something.
amazing year for the Cheech and Manny show. We worked real hard to get, I mean, we up to 77, almost 80 episodes in one year. People don't realize how much work and fun. Well, it's fun, number one, but like we do a lot of research and me and Manny spent a lot of time together talking about these concepts that we're doing for our podcast.
Hmm.
Spend a lot of time and effort, and they just magically appear. We'll be on the phone, they'll appear. They'll
Yeah,
appear at the
yeah.
temple. So the ideas keep coming, thank God. But we didn't. We abandoned some, like Bruce Springsteen. We're gonna get back to
We're gonna get
him.
back there, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, dude, this is the music show, so
yeah,
we're always gonna return to these topics. So matter of fact, we are your go-to experts on all things rock music. So you definitely want to subscribe. You want to learn about rock music, go back, watch our episodes,
yeah,
and the albums that we talk about, listen to them, and then come back to our podcast. And right
yep,
now we are on the progressive rock high. So if you're just getting into progressive rock, you definitely want to tune in because we're breaking down a lot of things, and hopefully you come away loving some of the bands we love. And if you don't, that's okay. Matter of fact, if you don't love any of the bands, if you don't love progressive rock, comment below why. We would love to hear,
yeah,
some of your
exactly,
comments and opinions. It's
yeah,
okay. It's all right.
exactly.
But
Cool.
Cheech, man, dude, this has been a blast. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Same here, Manny. Always a lot of fun, man, and knowledge, and a lot of great knowledge.
Little dad joke. I'll see you next year.
Yeah. See you next year, man.
All right, Cheech.
All right.
All
Peace
right,
out.
brother.
Bad news, bad news.
May the Prague Rock gods be with you.
Definitely.
May the
All
force
right.
be with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
May
May
the
the,
Prague be with you. I love
may
it.
the Prague be with you.
Yes,
May the
sir.
may the 11, 8, 9, 8, and 7, 8 times be with you. All right.
All right,
Take
Cheech.
care.
Take it easy,
Bye.
brother.